Well, good morning. It's a rainy Saturday, and I'm thinking about next Saturday when we were supposed to have Essentials number 3, and the venue has been canceled, everything's being postponed. So what I want to do is just a quick summary of what we would have done in that workshop. And there's this total invitation to join me for Essentials Recharge Saturdays, April through October, where this will be just integrated. But the core, we were going to really dive into the essential subtle core. After we did all the rolling and all the stretching, we would do this piece. So just a summary of what would have happened. And we'd already done a little bit. Remember, for the lower body, especially for stability, the simplest way in is to think about the psoas, this big tenderloin on either side of the lumbar spine, which during the exhale kind of snugs up closer to the spine, or even you can think about it spiraling in closer to the spine, but it comes closer on the out breath, and that's what creates our great stability. So it's always a good idea to start in constructive rest. Bring your hands to your belly and practice a few breaths where the out breath is drawing the psoas closer to the spine. You'll feel the more surface muscles joining in, of course, and the floor of the pelvis too. But deep inside, there's this snugging up, especially strong at the end of the out breath. When you feel like you have that dialed in, if you want to do more, you can think, well, can I stay really solid in the middle of my sacrum? I'm not here and I'm not here. I'm right in the middle of the sacrum. And I'm going to stay solid there. And at the end of the out breath, I'm going to practice picking up a foot. Can I actually pick up a foot and not rock over to the side? So that in and of itself is great work. And the out breath, pick up a foot. There's a whole progression from there if you feel like you want to or can move on, because this is doable for you. There's no sense making it more complicated if you can't hold steady. So you can glide the leg out. You can touch it down quickly and glide the other leg out. You could pick up both of them and do some glides. You can add the arms in, coming overhead. You can do whatever you want here, but you have to stay in integrity on the sacrum. So that's a great thing to work on, super subtle. The other thing we love to work with here is a simple bridge. You can lift up, still staying in this nice neutral spine, and you can think about at the end of the exhale, can I snug up well enough to shift my weight over toward one foot? So I'm going to shift to the right a little bit. Notice that if I actually shift a lot and pick up my left foot, watch this, it drops off because I'm not strong enough to hold steady. Most of us will not pick up that other foot. We just practice shifting the weight to one side, taking a deep breath in center, exhaling, and shifting the weight to the other side. This is huge work for psoas in a different shape of the hips. So that was going to be the subtle core intro for lower body stability. And then we would have taken some time to think about the upper body, and there's a million ways in here, and we'll cover a lot of different things in a recharge throughout April through October. But it's good to be oriented, and this is not a very good picture. At the studio for Essentials, I have a skeleton, yay, scapula. They are on the rib cage, 2 of them. And what we'd like to do is keep them snugging up to the rib cage. That is the same kind of subtle piece that we felt for psoas, snugging up to the spine. The upper body, for stability, we want to focus on keeping the scapula snugged up to the rib cage. So in service to that, and I'm going to get a little bit of padding for my knees, we work on hands and knees as one way in, because as soon as we become weight bearing in the hands, all of a sudden the upper body has to do something. We're not quadrupeds anymore, but we can get real strong up through here in connection with our power here if we weight bear on the hands. So here, I bring my hands, wrists are right under the shoulders, knees are right under the hips, and I feel the ability of the scapula to snug onto my spine, right? So this is not that. This is that beautiful snug. Now to connect that down to my hands, I see if I can bring a lot of weight into the mound of the index finger. If that seems challenging, you can think of the whole horseshoe of the palm, bringing your weight into the horseshoe of the palm. If you can focus a bit more at the index finger, it gets us exactly what we need in terms of stability. So once I'm here, I make sure I'm in neutral. I'm not in cat, I'm not in cow. I stay right in the center. I let my crown extend, I let my tail extend, and I hold this shape. Every out breath, I snug up the psoas and I snug the scapula onto the spine. Now this in and of itself, nice subtle work for the upper body. Everything's alive, but I could think, oh, I'm gonna tent my fingers on the left and take more weight on the right hand, just like when we were bridging. Or I might add on to that and go, oh, I've got to tent my toes on the right and see if I can stay stable and not drop, right? So psoas has to be engaged. Scapula on the right, psoas on the left are fully engaged for stability here. I can make this a little bit harder, like this. So you can do that on both sides and just practice stability. Another interesting thing to do in quadruped, once I feel like I'm here, is to make myself a little kickstand. This will be my left leg. And then I'm going to tent my fingers left and bring my toes out left instead of on the diagonal on the same side. Now the scapula is fully engaged on the rib cage right. Psoas on right is super turned on to keep me stable. I might play with, oh, can I do this? And then I might play with, oh, is it possible to do this, right? Full stability, subtle core stability on the right side. I can come down, I can do the other side. The third thing we would play with in quadruped, and the last thing in this series, would be to bring the palms a little bit further forward. Play with inhaling, keeping the spine in neutral and stretching out the back. And then exhaling to modified plank. Finding the scapula snugging up to the rib cage, finding the psoas snugging up to the spine, and holding modified plank. For those of you that are, maybe stronger here, adding a little bit of a push-up to that. So it would look like this, rocking from here on an inhale to here on an exhale, maybe adding this in. So this can become a really nice, stabilizing, rhythmic exercise for the subtle core. So, that was my intention, especially for our last hour this upcoming Saturday. It'll be spread through the series all summer, through the fall. The other thing that we'll play with is the really functional aspects of sitting, standing, and walking, the things that we're doing all day, every day, lifting as well. How do I incorporate everything I've learned about staying fluid, staying lengthened, staying stable into my daily life? Sitting, standing, walking, lifting, dancing. It's so nice to be with you this morning. Bye-bye.